Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today? How y'all doing today? Checking in. I know this is an early Twitter space. We generally don't do it early, but it's a new year, so we want to go ahead and throw this early space in there. No, it's a lot different. It's not the 8 o'clock time slot, but nonetheless, I want to go ahead. Very important, very important story that's been transpiring of late. It happened back in October. It's gained more media coverage, so we want to go ahead and just talk about 13-year old Sinise Reed that was murdered and how his alleged killer is still out there. No charges brought up against him, so we're going to be touching up on that today. I'm glad everybody could come into the space and join us. Like I say, I know this is a earlier space in the actually 8 o'clock spaces that we normally do Monday through Thursday. Starting New Year's off, this is Newstoter's first Twitter space this year, so I just want to say shout out to everybody that was able to come in here and join us and whatnot, and just thank you guys for coming up in the space as well. You guys, please, if you could, go ahead and tweet out the space as well too. Please go ahead and tweet out the space. Hopefully, we're gonna have a pretty good dialogue today, talking about this tragedy that just took place back. Like I say, it took place back in October, and still the alleged killer is still running free. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody joining the News Total today. We're gonna be chopping it up. We're gonna be getting up in it. So peace to you, Diane. I know you said you was in both platforms. You were just in the Twitter space, but I see that you left. So peace to everybody that's coming up in the space. We're gonna be starting shortly. And like I said, I do definitely want to hear everybody's opinion. Those that want to speak today, just let us know how you feel about this issue here. It's a tragedy that took place, and we're gonna go ahead and been tweeting it out, and we've been covering it and stuff like that. Just from our curation sources, we've been when we get anything about it, we go ahead and we put it out there. We tweet it out as well too. So shout out to all of the news total curation partners and stuff who've been publishing this content and publishing this story as well too. So once again, I just want to thank you guys for joining us. It's Thursday. I'm sorry, Thursdays are Monday through Thursdays when we do our Twitter spaces, and with the new year and everything that's been going on, we just been kind of running ragged. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming out, and we plan on having a very informative Twitter space like we always do on here. And you guys, we're going to cover this in just a second. We're trying to let a few more people come up in here, and we're going to go ahead and get everything started. But if anybody that wants to raise their hand and wants to speak today or whatever, please, by all means, go ahead and request the microphone, and we will definitely go ahead and let you guys come on up here and speak and just give us your 2 cents on how you feel about it as well too. So shout out to you, Diane. I know you're on listening on YouTube as well too. So shout out to you. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into this actual report, this horrifying news story. And I prayers sent out to this young man's family as well too. Never easy to deal with this type of tragedy. And so far, justice has not been done. So, and the young man, and we hope that as we keep talking about this and keep pushing it forward, that his family can get some justice and can get some relief as much as possible for something like this as well too. So shout out to everybody that's coming into space. Foundational, Black Idaho, Stephanie. Shout out to you, Val, as always. Carlos, Nate, Baron, all you guys coming up into space. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this thing rolling. I don't really want to wait too much longer. We're just trying to let a few more people come in. I know everybody's saying like, wow, what's going on with the 3 o'clock space today? I know you guys generally do your spaces at 8 o'clock at night, but like I said, we will be resuming the regular Twitter spaces tomorrow night, 8 o'clock for the rest of the week. So we just wanted to go ahead and get this out today. And then we'll go back into our regular Twitter spaces Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as always. And as always, we're recording the space. So if anybody that misses it, they can always catch the recording. Guys, make sure you tweet it out to your followers as well too. In case they can't be here live, they can always catch the recording as well too. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and also put this up in the Jumbotron, this article. You guys go ahead and tweet it out as well, too. I'm going to put this out in the actual Jumbotron. So, even though I'm going to cover this actual story, this actual report, you're going to hear, you may not want to read it or whatever, because already we'll do that, but you can still go ahead and retweet it out and try to gain it as much attention as possible. So that's exactly what we need at this point in time, try to get this story out there. It's already in the media's already out there in the media, but we need to get it out there more and more. We need to get more people talking about actually what took place. 13-year-old was murdered, and we had to put the words alleged in there, because like I said, the actual person hasn't been even charged or whatever. So it was initially charged, and everything else just went to crap. So let us go ahead and touch up on this real quick, y'all. We'll go ahead and get started on this. This was curated on Newstoter.com platform. It's in the actual Jumbotron as well, too. Curated. And it says, what happened to Sinzae Reed, a 13-year-old black boy shot and killed by a white man who is now free? I'm going to read this right off of the actual site that we curated from. In the opinions of black people across America, the reason Trayvon Martin's family never saw justice is the same reason it took months to even put Ahmaud Arbery's killers on the pathway to legal accountability. It's just far too easy to kill a black person and escape justice by claiming self-defense. On October 12th, 13-year-old Sinzae Reed was allegedly shot and killed by 36-year-old Craig A. Butler Sr. in Columbus, Ohio. According to the Columbus Dispatch, the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office initially charged Butler with murder, but a week later, October 19, prosecutors filed to dismiss the case in municipal court. More than 2 months later, Reed's family only knows one detail regarding why Butler is walking free today. There has been a claim of self-defense, Columbus Police Homicide Detective Keith O'Connor said back in October. O'Connor said the claim was made by Butler and his mother, but declined to comment further. It's been almost 3 months, and I haven't spoken to anybody about this investigation, Sinzae's mother, Morgan Reed, told the North Carolina Beat in a recent interview. I haven't even spoken to the detective. They're all on his side. Craig is a white man, and the detective is a white man, too. Here's what Morgan said happened according to the Beat. Morgan told the North Carolina Beat that on Wednesday, October 12th, 2022, her son, 13-year-old Sinzae Reed, said he wasn't feeling well. Morgan says she told her son that it was probably because of the air he sleeps under with the fan in his bedroom window. She says Sinzae returned to his room and later came back while she was cooking and had a conversation. After Sinzae and his mother, Megan, finished talking, he left the kitchen and returned to his room. Megan said the next thing she knew, someone came banging on her door. She said the neighbor told her that Sinzae had been shot. Morgan said that she didn't even know her son had even gone outside because they were just in the kitchen having a conversation before he went back to his room. I didn't even know he went outside, Morgan said, until the knock at my door telling me he had been shot. When Morgan got to where her son was lying with the gunshot wounds, he said witnesses started telling her that a 36-year-old Craig A. Butler Sr. was responsible. As soon as I got over there, everybody was like, Craig did this, Megan said. According to Megan, witnesses told her that Craig allegedly shot Sinzae and then came back around and reshot him multiple times. Megan said Butler fled the scene but was later captured and arrested at his house the next day. She also said Butler reportedly claimed her son had a gun, but she didn't see a weapon when she went to the scene, and no witnesses saw a gun either. The dispatch confirmed that according to court records, an eyewitness who knows Butler told the police they saw him exit the red truck, shoot Sinzae multiple times, get back in his truck, and drive off, which makes it all more perplexing that Butler is free with no charges. At any rate, legal officials in Columbus still have not released information to the public as to why Butler's self-defense claim was deemed credible enough for charges to be dropped. In October, prosecuting attorney Gary Tack's office put out a statement that basically said the killing was still under investigation, that this kind of case failing to make it to a grand jury isn't uncommon. Not every case initiated in municipal court is presented to the grand jury, the press release said, according to the dispatch. This particular case is still in review for possible presentation to the grand jury, and unfortunately, I cannot advise you when that case will be presented to the grand jury. Months later, we still don't know why Sinzae was shot or why his alleged killer is free. Just what the hell happened here? So, yeah. This was from News One. It was also from Black Star News, and it was also curated on the Newstoter.com platform. And this guy's still running free here. He was initially charged, and if for whatever reason, the charges, just somehow disappeared. And you had this man that you had witnesses say that he shot this black kid multiple times. He went back and shot him multiple times, and yet he's still, he's still walking free. And I know they're saying that this is not always the case where this goes to the grand jury and this and that or whatever. nonetheless, I just don't see how you can have a grown man who has allegedly, and we have to keep saying the word allegedly. I don't even know why we're saying allegedly or alleged, but allegedly shot and killed this 13-year-old child. Supposedly, it was supposed to be a gun or whatever, that nobody saw the gun anywhere. I haven't heard anything about witnesses claiming that the gun was found on the scene and this and that either. So you have a 13-year-old that's lined up here dead. This case back in October started making the rounds and it's picked up even more steam. And yet we have this man, Craig Butler, who's still walking around free, no charges, anything like that. Hasn't even been brought up to the grand jury. I know they're saying, well, it doesn't always have to be brought up to the grand jury and this and that. Most cases we know are always brought up to a grand jury. So we're just trying to see exactly what's taking forever and what's taking so long for this story right here to really matriculate in the press and gain any more steam. Unfortunately, like I said, this young man, he lost his life. My heart goes out to him, 13 years old. I don't even know. Like the mother says, one minute she's in there having a conversation. I don't know. He went outside the house. The mother didn't know, apparently. But one minute she's having a conversation with him about him not feeling well and this and that. And then the next minute she's saying from what her side of the story, that she's hearing a banging on the door and people telling her that her son was shot. So multiple people telling her son was shot. One minute she thinks he's in the house. He's not feeling well. The next thing she knows, people are telling her that her son's been shot. Well, not only has he been shot, he's been killed as well, too. So just a horrifying story all around, bad news. No parent wants to bury their child before them, and unfortunately, this mother does. Justice has not been served up. This man is still walking around free. I see a lot of excuses coming from the district attorney and their people, the prosecutors and stuff like that, why he hasn't been charged. It's one thing to whether he's guilty or not, but you would think that he would at least have a charge on him, no charge whatsoever. So quite a bad story going on. And as the article mentioned with Ahmaud Arbery and Trayvon Martin, we know that this is not uncommon. This is always pretty much the case, no matter how young you are in America and stuff like that. If you're young, especially a black male, and you get killed, it's always a self-defense. It's always, will more come out of this story. But if this kid really had a gun on him, he's 13 years old, he really had a gun on him, it seemed like that would have already been pretty much proven that, yeah, he had a gun on him and this man had to draw down or whatever. There was no gun at the scene to our knowledge. So, exactly what's going on, we have no idea. Nobody knows anything. The police pretty much keeping it close to vest. The prosecutors keeping it close to vest. This man's walking around. Hopefully he doesn't allegedly shoot anybody else, especially any other teenagers. So at this point in time, man, this is a head scratcher. I can't even understand why, he's not, he hasn't been charged with anything, and he should at the very least should have had to bail himself up out of jail, but he's walking around scot-free and nobody else has done anything about it. We're not hearing we're hearing some things on the news front from some of our people and stuff like that in terms of, this becoming a mainstream story, but it still hasn't really gripped the black community the way we think it should. Yeah, and 13-year-old just lost his life like that, senseless, just killed, and the mother had to go out there and see her child laid up like that, shot. You would think that this would be much more of a hot button topic, but unfortunately, it's not, y'all, and it's our job to go ahead and, like I say, everybody in the jumbotron, you can see that actual article in there. For the amount of people that's in the space right now, please, guys, if you get a chance, if you already have, I appreciate it. But if you haven't, please just go ahead and retweet this out. A lot of our people have already heard about this story, but we need to start putting a hashtag up too for Sinzae's read as well too, and just trying to get this story out there as much as possible. Ray, what's going on, man? I know you was know you said you had a day off and whatnot. I know we did a little earlier space than we normally do, but I wanted to go ahead and get it in. So what's going on?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm just here getting some work done on my car, man. But it's really good, man. Like a joint, I'm always going to show something before. But yeah, just to touch on it, man, it's very sad because brothers who are 12, 13 years old and got killed. I can relate to that. Obviously, you've been in these spaces before. You've heard me talk about my cousin, the one that was killed in Georgia by her crazy ass boyfriend, husband, whatever the hell he was to her. And this dude, just like this case, is out. He posted pictures on social media, glued up with his girlfriend at home with her kids, in matching PJs and stuff. And my cousin in the ground, unfortunately. So it's just sad that a lot of these cases aren't getting justice because they aren't getting the coverage that they need. I land there.
Yeah, man, and it's kind of up to us to go ahead and push the narrative because, like you say, you saying they're doing everything in their power not to charge this man. This man is still walking around scot free. No way if this had been a white child, a white teenage boy that got shot like that and killed, and got shot multiple times as well too. He came, and that's the thing that I want everybody to realize. Multiple times, oh boy, they say came back and shot him. So, all this, I was in fear of my life and this and that. Is one thing if you shot somebody once or even twice, you're supposedly in fear of your life, but to come back and just start letting off again and stuff like that. He's still walking around here scot-free. They're giving all kind of nonsense talking points about why he wasn't charged and that, it's not out of the realm for the grand jury to charge somebody and this and that. I mean, please, it's just ridiculous here. And this guy is a danger, and he's out here walking around. Hopefully, like I said, he doesn't shoot any more other black kids because he's already showed that he'll kill a teenager in a minute. So the fact of the matter, like I say, it's up to us to go ahead and start retweeting these type of stories out, putting this out here, keeping it out there because the media doesn't want to talk about it. The media mentions it and this and that. It's been so like Atlanta Black Star and Black Enterprise and News One and some of our other black media out there have been actually putting this story out there more and more and more. So it's just up to us to kind of keep it out there. If we don't keep it out there, nobody else will. And for this one child that got murdered back in October, how many more are going to be murdered this year as well too? Like, so you can't trust the DAs. You saw that in the Ahmaud Arbery situation. You can't trust the DA. You can't trust the prosecutors. You can't trust the criminal justice system here in America because the criminal justice system, a lot of times they feel that a lot of these unarmed black males that's getting killed deserve exactly what they got. They have no empathy or sympathy for what's going on in Black America today. So when a lot of times when one of these, a black man catches a bullet or even a black child or a black woman for that matter, they feel that it was something that you did to deserve that bullet. And, they're going to do everything they can to go ahead and get their people up out of from being charged. So we definitely got to find a way to keep this story, keep it alive. I'm praying that this kid's family gets justice as well too. Such a tragedy. 13 years old, life is taken. 13 years old. How can you sit up here, you're talking to your mom 1 minute, your mom thinking that, you're still in the house. The kid went out or whatever. So teenagers do that. They leave and stuff like that. Parents think they're in the house or they went outside or whatever. Next thing you know, this had to be some kind of nightmare scenario. Next thing you know, you think your child's in the house, then you're hearing banging. Somebody's telling you, hey, your child's been shot. And you're like, wait a minute, is this some kind of sick joke or something? No, my child's in the house. No, your child's been shot. You come out there and everybody's telling you this person did it. This person's did it. So that just, like I say, my heart goes out. That's why we have to go ahead and make sure as a media outlet, media people, everybody in here is part of the media and stuff as well too. If you're on Twitter and you're sharing news stories daily and you're commenting and stuff like that, you don't know how valuable your reach is. Please go ahead and use it effectively as well to keep this story out here as much as possible. Let's see the next couple months if we can keep pressure on mainstream news media, and we can keep pressure on these people to go ahead and shame them, because a lot of time that's what you have to almost do in America. You almost have to shame these folks before they actually finally take legal action. Ray, what's up? You got it.
I was going to add something. Sure, the current story. I ain't gonna say it's kind of.
Ray, you kind of breaking up a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you better.
Yeah, I've heard the story, at least a month or two, or maybe a little bit older. So the fact that, I don't know how true that is, but I've heard the story a little bit older. So the fact that they've been able to keep it covered for this long is a problem, which is why we need, outlets like, Newstoter and, the Black authorities, Sharif, and the rest of, the major hitters, because without you guys, like I said, real talk, this story would have got out. I had no idea this story was even happening, man. I want to salute y'all for honestly tackling the subject that the mainstream media won't even touch.
Yeah, I had heard about this story, and you hear the only thing is, like I said, we hear so many stories like this that they kind of sometimes get lost. But you heard so many stories like this was actually back out in October, and it's really just now really starting to catch a little bit of a little bit of strength, a little bit of wind or whatever, but not nearly enough. And that's why I say we see the impact that black people and people say black Twitter. They say that as like a cheapening way, but we see the impact that black people have on just this app here alone on Twitter. But it's time to start, cross plateau, like using it everywhere, like on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all these other outlets, all these other social media mechanisms that we have out there. We got to start using our power to go ahead and get these messages and get these stories and reports out there as much as possible as well too, because the media does not want to cover this stuff. The media is only covering a lot of this stuff because that we're actually making them, we're forcing them to, we're making them have that dialogue and stuff like that. They're doing everything in their power to go ahead and drown a lot of these issues and these stories and stuff that they really don't want to hit. They just really want to focus on entertainment as much as possible. When we have stories like this that come out, if you go ahead and you put it out there and you pound the pavement enough, eventually they'll come out there and you'll start seeing the CBSs and the NBCs and the CNNs and even people like Fox, who we know their opinion on black people. You're making them come out. You're making them have to actually talk about this kind of stuff as well too. So it's up to us, man. Like I say, and this child, he's 13 years old and he's been murdered. He'll never see adulthood. His poor mom, she had to go ahead and think about the shock of the mother. You have to go in and see your child laid out, just murdered right before your eyes. Hopefully this woman, she'll be okay. Go ahead, Ray.
Really quick question, because my phone's breaking up a little bit. So this heinous crime, like, what justification could they have for not locking him up?
Well, the only thing we're hearing at this time, Ray, they're talking about that apparently it's self-defense. But even with self-defense, people get charged and stuff all the time, and you have to go ahead and you have to have your day in court to pretty much prove. But they're trying to say that because they were talking about that the boy had a gun on him. He had a gun on. They kept in the story I read. I don't know if he was in it, but the actual story talking about that the kid had a gun on him. Yet they didn't find any gun. Nobody saw a gun on him. You there, Ray?
It's only precious. That's good.
Okay. Ray, go ahead and mute your mic, Ray. But yeah, I know Ray is handling some business at the card place or whatever. But yeah, they claim that this kid that Sinzae had an actual gun on him. Nobody has found that gun. They didn't see the gun at the scene and stuff like that. So all this stuff that he had a gun and whatnot, I want to see some hardcore evidence that he had an actual gun. That he had an actual gun. He pulled it on this man, and this man's life was really being threatened. At this point, like I say, this is just chatter right here. So there's no real substantial evidence. And I guess in the police mind, the fact that he said that the black kid had a gun or whatever, that's enough for them not to go ahead and formally charge this man. First, I don't understand how he was arrested and they decided not to go ahead and charge him or whatever. But that, like I said, we just got to kind of keep digging with this story right here, because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. It makes zero sense. So it's up to everybody up in there as much as you can to go ahead and, like I say, keep pushing this story. It's in the Jumbotron, retweet it out, and start using the hashtag as well up there in the actual title too. Hashtag Sinzae Reed as well too. Ray, I'm gonna go ahead and let you put you back at the co-host as well. I see you got your hand up, so let me go ahead and put you back as co-host as well too. Be More and Christian, go ahead and Be More, and then Christian, go ahead and unmute your mic. And props to and shout out to Brother McCoo as well too.
I gotta wonder, man. Even though they saying he got a gun or this or that, which is probably not true at all. But regardless, shouldn't a man be arrested for fleeing the scene of a crime? Or fleeing the scene of a murder?
I would think so. I mean,
regardless, what I'm saying, regardless of whether he had or self-defense or whatever. I mean, Javante Davis got arrested, had to pay $100 bail for an accusation, just a baseless accusation, and which she admitted, she lied and she blew the whole thing up and everything. So it don't matter. I got arrested for somebody making an accusation on me. You know, about me harm, I don't even want to get into it. But the whole, you know, just accusation alone, no charges filed. The man should supposed to be in jail. He's supposed to have to pay a bail regardless. But I'm going to tell you, and you got to wonder, like, what do we have to do in order to get ourselves in a position of power so that these kind of things don't happen, so these people don't look at us as a powerless group, so they don't keep taking advantage. But I'm really, you know, I'm not worried too much. I mean, I feel really good about this case. No big deal, because Joe Biden said he's got our backs. Don't forget that.
Wait, Joe Biden, he commented on this actual story as well, and he said that he has our backs. That's what he said.
Don't you remember he got elected? He said, "Don't you worry, Black African Americans, because I got your back." So there you go. So don't worry, y'all. Joe Biden's got this. The DOJ got this. All right, we ain't got to do nothing. Just sit back. Just believe in Jesus. There you go.
Well, I'll definitely sleep a lot sounder tonight knowing that old Joe is going to look out for us as well too. So I you know, that definitely makes me feel a whole lot better knowing that Joe Biden is going to look out for his black friends. So I definitely feel pretty good about that though. Appreciate you on that, Christian, for letting us all know that. I forgot. I thought he specifically said something about this case. I'm like, what, Joe? When did Joe say something about this case? But oh yeah, of course, he's like Joe said, he's always had our backs for the past 50 years. Nobody's done more for the coloreds than Joe Biden. So let's give a shout out to presidential Joe Biden. Real quick. Oh yeah. Let me give a shout out also to my man, Brother McCoo, for your contribution on Cash App. I appreciate that, brother. Let me go ahead and kick it to I'm gonna kick it to B More, kick it to Miss T, and Ray, I'm gonna kick it to you.
What's up, Newstoter? Man, no problem with that, man. And I'm going to say this is a clear-cut case of just fuckery. Christian threw me for a case, threw me for a loop for a minute when he said Joe Biden shit. I was cussing at the phone like, what the fuck? I see it was sarcastic. This is why our children need to be protected, though. You know, this is a serious case. You know, unfortunately, my oldest daughter was murdered on a college campus, breaking up a fight. So I know how it feels to lose a child, especially when you wasn't even there. You just coming into the chaos and your child gone. I can't even. My condolences to the family. Really, really, just my condolences to his mother, his father. And, you know, this is just a clear-cut case of we have to have a protection, a crime, you know, an anti-black crime bill, period. You know what I'm saying? We need to be protected. Our children need to be protected. I have a son around his age, and I don't know what I would have done if he was in a house 1 second and then the next second he's outside and he's gone. I mean, that's an unbearable feeling. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no friends, and we need to protect our children, but our children need to be protected as well, even when we're not around. I mean, it takes a village, raise a child, but it also takes a village to harm one. And this is a clear case of why we need to prepare for this. I just wanted to say condolences to the family again, and I hope he's resting in peace. Real
talking, and Brother McCoo, I condolences to you. Yeah, condolences to you, brother, because I never knew that story. You know, as much as you holler at me and stuff like that, condolences to you, because I never knew that story till you just said that as well too. So, that like I say, that's just terrible. The fact that the mother had to walk up and see a child like that as well too, and you thinking your child is in the house, and next thing you know, somebody's knocking on your door, and then you're thinking like, okay, what kind of sick ass joke is this right here to go ahead and say something like this? And then you come and you see it, and can you just imagine that mother's heart just dropping and just, wow. I mean, you talk about just so many times black women have had to see this scene like that too, man. I mean, for all the talk, they talk about black women, they forget how tough black women are. I mean, for hundreds of years, they've had to see this repeated scene of their husbands, their sons, their brothers, their fathers, their uncles, their cousins, their nephews, their neighbors, just laid out in front of them, just, for hundreds of years they've had to witness this right here and could do nothing about it, and to this day is still going on. It's just so troubling. Man, I mean, Miss T, sister, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone in the space. This is heartbreaking again. Another family has to become a part of this club of having their child murdered. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tariq spoke on this the other night, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the district attorney in this area is a black man, similar to Breonna Taylor in Kentucky. So, and he was showing a couple of pictures, and that just makes it triple heartbreaking. But it also shows us again, we cannot just vote for people because they are black. I'm not sure if this guy is a black American or not, but we put these people into positions because we're like, okay, finally, I have someone there that can relate to our circumstances and be there to represent for us. But here again, another black man in a position of power, and he has let us down. So I don't know. I guess we need a call to action. Maybe we can contact the DA's office, the prosecutor's office, and make demands or do a hashtag or something needs to be done. Yeah, we're bringing attention, but I don't know. We got to shake it up. And I land my plane.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. And Happy New Year to you as well. And Happy New Year to everybody in the actual Twitter space as well, too. I know I sent out a tweet wishing everybody Happy New Year, but for everybody that's in the Twitter space and everything else, Happy New Year to all you guys. And just glad to have you up in the space as well, too. Ray, I know you said you was having some audio issues. You couldn't hear anything in the space. How is it now?
I'm good. Started working, but radio with the mic kept cutting on and off.
Yeah, and you breaking up right now on this as well too.
Hey, what about now?
Go say something else again.
Can you hear me now? Am I good now?
Yeah, you better.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak loud as I can. So before I got kicked out of space, I heard that you said it was self-defense was the reason why this child was killed.
Yeah, that's what he's claiming. That they're claiming that self-defense, and they're claiming that the kid had a gun as well, but there was no gun at the scene of the crime.
Well, then they got to use common sense. So if this child is dead, you're saying that he has a gun, but the gun isn't at the scene, that means you're fucking lying. That's what that means. And at some point, if you're a grown-ass man and you can't handle a 13-year-old, what does that say about you? This is kind of like the Trayvon Martin case all over again. This punk ass George Zimmerman, that wasn't even supposed to be following Trayvon, followed him, probably started the fight. I don't want to, just say allegedly started the fight and ended up killing the boy. This is just getting ridiculous, man. They're targeting our babies, and let's just be real. They're targeting, they'll go after men, they go after children and women. They definitely gonna probably kill them. At some point, we just have to just put our foot down. You're not gonna kill our babies. This needs to be the last one. I know it's not going to be, but this absolutely needs to be the last one. Because you don't hear about, let's just be real, you don't hear about white children getting murdered like this. It's only our kids. Enough is enough.
And not only that, Ray, but like they say, he shot him. He came back, got out of his truck, and shot him multiple times. I mean, what? There's no self-defense that you come back and you shoot somebody multiple times. That you can't excuse that. You can't say, "Well, I was in fear of my life and I had to come back." And what you're trying to do is make sure this person is dead. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill somebody.
If he's not, I'm not going to put you out, but that needs to be rise in the streets. This is ridiculous. I didn't even know that. I also heard about getting killed. But he came back and still was, loading a couple magazines, let a magazine out on it just to make sure he was dead. Nah, you can't claim no self. Nah, enough of enough.
Hey, I'm in total agreement with you like that. And the fact, like I say, only black people could be murdered like that. And then when it's time to go ahead and get justice and stuff like that, all of a sudden we don't know what's going on. And then you got the prosecutors and stuff talking about, yeah, well, it's not always a grand jury that gets people a charge. I mean, come on, stop, man. Like y'all simply don't want to charge this white boy at all. Y'all took this BS that he said. And all of a sudden, like you say, Ray, a teenager, a 13-year-old can strike fear in a grown ass man. Okay, set up and murdered him allegedly. Let me keep saying allegedly as well too. Allegedly murdered the boy, and shot him and killed him. And now they don't even want to go ahead and they don't want to do the right thing. This man should be standing trial, and he should be fighting for his freedom, just like anybody else, any man in this space. If you had shot a 13-year-old white boy and then claimed self-defense, they're like, okay, yeah, it might have been self-defense, but you're getting ready to go to court, buddy, and you're gonna go have to have your lawyers prove that it was self-defense as well, too. So, my girl, Diane in the Twitter, Diane in the on YouTube, she said that the DA Gary Tack is white. She just Googled it, so the DA is actually white from what she said too. His name was in the actual article as well too. So I know. I think she said Tariq mentioned it as well. I think Miss C said Tariq mentioned it as well too. So that's what I'm saying, man. We're gonna have to use our own people and our own sources to constantly keep this thing out as much as possible. In 2000 and 2023, y'all. Be on the lookout for when we start posting these tweets and stuff like that, or these type of things going on. Please go ahead and share it, retweet it out. Try to get it as much attention as possible. We're gonna kick it to Black Pressure. I'm gonna kick it to Black Pressure, then I'm gonna kick it back to you, B More. Black Pressure's been a little minute. Happy New Year's. How you doing?
Hey, Happy New Year's, fam. Yeah, it's been a while, man. I take some time off, but what's up to the Black family? I have a question. I don't know if you or Ray can answer it. Did that guy, did he mag dump that boy? Did he just empty off in him?
Well, from what they said, he came back and shot him multiple times. So I mean, he had to. I'm thinking that he initially shot him, and then they were saying that he came back and shot him a couple times again. So he pretty much let off in him.
Yeah, I don't want to say nothing that's gonna get the room in trouble. I'll land my plane for now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're probably upset about that too, man. Like, we kind of hear this stuff as black men. This definitely strikes a nerve right here. It lets you know too, for those of us that have kids and those of us such as myself that have boys and stuff like that as well too. It makes you really keep that head on the swivel and stuff like that, because you just never know what's lurking around the corner. Unfortunately, that's a bad thing to say and a bad way to feel, but you just truly don't know.
Yeah, that's real. I have a 13-year-old. So I just could not even imagine having to go through something like this. And the crazy thing is, at 13, she's a female. She's only like, 80, 90 pounds at the most. You a grown man can't have a 90-pound kid. You feel like you no, let me just land the phone. God damn.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with every black man and black women too, because that's their babies too being killed. That's our sons and stuff, but that's their babies also being shot. So the black women, like I say, the mother, she was there. So that mother feels. I mean, you can't put yourself in that predicament to even just to understand how that mother has to be feeling at this point right now. Go ahead, B1. Let me get to Carlos real quick. Carlos, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Happy New Year, family, and peace to the room. I'm not sure where this incident took place, but I'm just going to say it needs to be some armed justice served. And we need to start taking advantage of the recall election process and recalling that DA to get him out of office. You can't get a politician out of office before their term. We don't have to. We need to start taking advantage of this. We know the system is rigged, but we know
Appreciate that, Carlos. And this took place in Columbus, Ohio. Just for those that don't know, this story actually took place in Columbus, Ohio. And you're right. We got a prosecutor is elected, so we got to start using our power. Like I say, once these stories get out there in the public's eye, we need to go ahead and keep these stories out there as much as possible. And we also got to go ahead and start trying to punish these people that's turning a blind eye. As prosecutors thinking, I'm sure the area Columbus, Ohio, I don't know the actual demographics, but I'm sure it's probably majority white, and he doesn't want to piss off a lot of the white residents there and stuff like that by actually having this dude, serve some time and get charged or whatever. But we got to go ahead and keep these stories up there for our people as much as possible, because like this is January is just, this new year has just started. So let's keep an eye on how many of these stories we come across this year as well too. Be more, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's going on? Apologies, when I came on the first time I didn't say happy or New Year, and the reason why is because this is not a new year. Same shit happened yesterday, day before that, and it's happening now yet again. This the fucking, I know it happened last year, but what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? This child was shot by a white boy. Just let off on him. He's 13. You know what I'm saying? I have a 12-year-old, and I would be crazy in my head to just not teach my 12-year-old about racism, white supremacy, and to be suspicious of every white person because this system exists. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, she was 18 when she passed away. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't by a white person, but you know what? It was on a campus, and the campus security wasn't there to protect my baby. You know what I'm saying? And he was amongst people that looked like him. You know, I'm concerned, like, well, didn't anybody in the community see this? And when you seen this white boy dumping on this black boy, what the fuck did y'all do? Why wasn't the truck stormed? Why didn't nobody rip this motherfucker's head off? You know what I'm saying? This is a child, for Christ's sake. I was in a space the other night, and this dude told me I ain't going to teach my child about racism, white supremacy until they like 15 or 16. But see, if we keep doing shit like that, shit like this is going to keep happening. This is going to keep happening. We got to teach our children about this shit as soon as they can talk. Teach them. And let's stop teaching our children to pull out their phones and shit like that, because that's not going to protect your life. This boy can't come back. He gone forever. Forever, y'all. And it's sad. I was just giving out free meals to my black homeless folks, and I was turning away white people. Not to be mean, because we don't have no friends, y'all. We don't have no fucking friends. And this is proof. We don't have no friends. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm just so angry right now. I just want to get my guns and go and shoot everybody. Because this shit is fucked up. That was my son, man. That was Newstoter's son. That was every black man's in this space son. And that was every black woman in this space son. We all related. And this needs to stop. Like yesterday. I'm with you, Ray. And I'm with you, Ray. And it don't even need to be, I know it ain't going to stop. No, fuck that. This shit needs to cease. Period. I land there. I love y'all, man. I'm sorry for yelling.
No, brother. We feel your pain. Like I say, and I don't want to just make this. Of course, as black men, it's a difference because we're the ones being targeted 90% of the time. But like I say, I also feel the pain of the mothers, the women up in here. You know, that pain that they're sharing is equal. They're going through it just as much as well as us too. It hits differently, but they're going through it just as much as well too. And based on what the mother said, witnesses told the mother that the man came and shot this boy one time, came and shot him, and then came back and shot him multiple times, you know, to make sure that he finished him off. and he wasn't charged. So don't sit up here and say that somebody, that's not self-defense. You can't sit up here and execute somebody and say, well, that's self-defense. You know, I executed somebody, that's self-defense. You know, a 13-year-old child, you shot not you,
And I don't mean to interrupt, Choda, but you're right, man. He came back and finished them off so he couldn't tell a story. This ain't murder. This was execution. That boy came back and killed that boy so he couldn't tell his story. I'm sorry, Toad, man. This shit just got me so fucking mad right now, man. I'm in tears right now.
As well as should, because like you shared with the space, brother. I mean, you lived this and stuff like that before too, and now you know. Here's a mother and a mother and a family that have to go through this, something that should have been totally preventable. A grown ass man sits up here, starts something with a child, and like allegedly, because we don't know exactly what happened, but you're a grown man. You're supposed to be able to go ahead and resolve issues, you know, without actually getting into it with a child. He sits up here, shoots a child, and then executes him, you know, allegedly, based on what eyewitnesses said. Now, and then you have the prosecutors sitting up here talking about, well, they don't have enough evidence to charge the man. The man's walking around scot-free. And I think Christian mentioned that the incident that you had with the boxer, Tank Davis, allegedly getting into a domestic issue with his girlfriend, you know, he got charged and stuff like that. And the girlfriend sat up here afterwards and said, you know, they both were at fault. But he got charged. His name is all through the papers and this and that. You know, I'm not saying what he did was right or anything. I don't want anybody saying that. But I'm saying in an issue like that, he got charged, okay, and yet somebody just got murdered, and they're not. And this person is free to walk the streets, and nothing has happened to him. Free to walk the streets with no charge. And the prosecutor sitting up here talking about, well, you know, the grand jury, and it doesn't always have to come from the grand jury. They're special. It's always like these special issues when they come with black people getting justice. Always something under the sun, like. It's always some strange thing that happens that, you know, well, special circumstances sometimes that doesn't always lead to this and that. It's just complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. It's always like some special structures, arrangement or something like that has to take place for a black person to get justice in this country right here. Always. Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Hey, Nose, I had to say this, kind of piggybacking on B more, and you know I say this too. The ladies are definitely welcome to disagree. Chime in if you disagree with me, but like this, by nature, or if you know, believe in God, by the universe, whatever you believe in, by nature, men are tasked with the responsibility of protection. So I'll use myself for an example. If I had a wife and kids, right, and wherever we were in our home, out in public, if harm descended up on myself and my wife and kids, harm has to go through me to get to my wife and kids. So I'm listening to this story right here, and I cannot imagine that being me. Where I got the news that, like B Moore said, my 13-year-old child was literally executed. You would not be able to reason with me. It would be akin to the Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. While I'm the Hulk, you could not reason with me. And look, I'm no tough guy. I'm no special ops. I'm not Force Recon. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I'm not any professional assassin. I'm nothing like that. I'm not a shooter. Nothing like that. But if I superimpose myself in that situation where my 13-year-old baby got executed by some white dude from A to B, from myself to that guy, I'm killing him. Period. I'm not asking questions. And like I said before, once I do that, then white folks can do with me what they will. But I do, like B Moore said, I'm listening to this and it's resonating with me. This is unconscionable. I cannot. Why is that? Wherever, I don't even know where they are, and I apologize for not having all the details on this. Wherever they are, that whole city should be on fire. I'm talking about burning to the ground everything.
They in Columbus, Ohio.
Well, okay, yeah, but I'll land my plane again.
Hey, y'all, listen, you're not going to get any arguments from me on this here. Like I said, being the father of two boys, you're not going to get any arguments from me on this right here. I understand exactly how I can't say I understand exactly because I couldn't understand being in that predicament that poor mother was in. So I can empathize for her. we know the history behind it, but I can't say I know exactly how she feels or how my brother Moku feels to be, to have something like that, to have your child's life snuffed out over nonsense. I really can't say how that feels. What I can say is that we got to go ahead and start the actual judicial system up here in the United States. We allowed the Democrats, when they were supposed to go ahead and put pressure with police reform and this and that or whatever, because it's all tied together. Not just the qualified immunity, whatever, but these do nothing prosecutors and stuff in these areas that sit up here and allow these suspected white supremacists to go ahead and get away with this kind of stuff like that. We got to start holding these people responsible. And I don't know who was that said that about also voting and getting these people up out of office. I believe that was Carlos, but we got to really, really, really start looking and doing this kind of stuff here and stop just letting these people sit up here and collecting dust and just keeping the just keeping the agenda going forward. That a black man could be shot, a black child could be shot and be target practice anytime they choose on it. And that's exactly what this case is showing right here. Because this man is not even charged. This man should not only been charged, but he should not have even had a damn bail. He should still be awaiting trial and sitting up there in the county jail till it's time for him to actually get ready to go to trial. So the fact that he's still walking around here and he can do as he pleases, and that's only because of the American judicial corrupt system that we have going on, that he can actually go ahead and do all this stuff as well too. So we got to start going ahead, man. We got to start using our media sources and stuff like that. We got to go ahead. Twitter's a good place to go ahead and get the information out. We've seen that in the past year or two, how you can get things rolling on these social media apps. It's up to us to go ahead and keep it out there. We're not all in the same state or the same city. We're not even on the same coast, a lot of us. You got people in the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and everything like that. Yeah, we still can get together. Like in these spaces, I'm sure in these spaces alone that the people that's in this space right now, we're in 10, 15, 20 different cities or whatever. So we can still go ahead and get these messages out there and make mainstream America have to deal with it, which they don't want to have to do. They don't want to have to deal with it. Let me go ahead and kick it to original, but real quick, y'all, in the Jumbotron, please, to the far right, this actual article's in there. Please, if you could, go ahead and retweet it out. Let's go ahead and get as many retweets on this story as possible. Please go ahead and retweet this out. Leave a comment if you want to. Start using the hashtag that's up there in the actual in the actual Jumbotron, in the actual title of the actual room. Sinise Reed. Hashtag that whenever you can or whatever, as much as possible. Let's keep this young man's memory with us. Create posts, anything like that to help gain attention. Keep this young man's memory and his name on the tongue of our people and stuff like that, and make those as well that don't want to talk about that mainstream America, who just wants to go ahead and put this to the back burner like they always do. Let's keep his memory alive for him, for his family, for our community, for our kids as well too. Let's go ahead and keep this young man's memory alive as much as possible. Let's go ahead and keep this story out there, and to actually his family receive some justice. To this man is actually charged with this crime. Let's go ahead and use this hashtag and go ahead and get things rolling as much as possible. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. This is not a good way to start our year. And this is a damn shame. And did someone say that the district attorney in that county is black?
No, I believe one of the sisters, Diane, on YouTube, she Googled him and she said it was actually a white gentleman. I know his name. I mentioned his name in the article, but I don't know if he's black or white. But she said that he was white. I haven't exactly seen, but she said he was white.
Yeah. See, this kind of reminds me. There was a young brother here down in. He lived in I think it was Palmetto or somewhere down in South Fulton County, and he was shot several years ago. He was shot in the back by a police officer, and so in that area, it's like 70% black. So the mayor came on the radio station talking all big and bad what he was going to do and stuff. And then when it turned out, some information came out that there was a cover-up regarding the murder of that brother. His name is Ariston Waiter. Then the mayor, black mayor too, he started dodging questions, didn't want to come back on the radio and discuss the issue. And this is the issue that we're having because, see, the black elected official, whether it be local, state, or national, they have taken our vote for decades and represented every demographic except for us. And we've allowed that to happen. And so that's why I quit voting for these people. And we gotta make sure even the white folks that get our vote, they're gonna have to do better as well. The fighting others. They think it's just standard operating procedure where you can just kill black folks and you just ride off into the sunset and do what the hell you want to do. And this is why, because see, when they see that these black elected officials don't do a damn thing for us, and they say, well, hell, they're not pushing them to do a damn thing, I don't have to do a damn thing either. And that's why a lot of this stuff is going on. Because we got these punk ass people that want us to vote for them and their party. I don't give a damn if it's Democrat or Republican. I'm not letting either one of them out. Because they are supposed to represent us. We are citizens of this country. And damn it, we deserve to be represented. I mean, this is a damn shit. A 13-year-old child is just executed and nobody gives a damn. I don't know what the people in Ohio are doing, if they're protesting, if they're going after this DA. It's like, what was the brother's name? He was in here in the space last week, and he was talking about the recall procedure. They need to start a recall procedure on that DA like today. They need to start finding out what the process is and go ahead and get him up out of there, because he does not deserve. How you gonna let somebody shoot somebody and then come back and shoot them multiple times, and you ain't trying to lock their, you haven't locked their ass up? This is insane. Hell, you get locked up quicker kicking a damn dog than killing a black person.
Facts.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, this is, but see, part of our main problem is because see, I started seeing this shift like in the late 70s, early 80s. They started telling these black elected officials, well, y'all don't want to keep harping on that black stuff. Just try to fit in with their. No, we can't fit in with everybody because we are a unique group of people. And if you're not going to represent us, then damn it, don't ask for my vote because I'm not giving it to you. Let me land it. I'm gonna have to land with that.
Yeah, I'm with you, original. I mean, this story. Like I said, I said we got to do a space on this story right here. Just this. I wanted this to be the first space this year that I did this. I did the first story I did a space on, and I wanted to be just. A lot of times in the Newstoter space, we'll cover multiple topics sometime in spaces and stuff like that as well too. But this was a topic. This was a report. This was a story that required 100% attention. This is just totally. When I thought about this, I thought about this young man and his family, and like I say, this young man, he's gone. He's no longer suffering in his world, but his family members that's left behind, his poor mother. This story, I've been thinking about his mom, just, the heartache that poor woman had to experience. And the fact of the matter that you got this do nothing prosecutor sitting up here and you got these people up here, they got the nerve to mention self-defense after you execute a 13-year-old, after you execute a child, you execute them. And you sitting up here talking about self-defense. And I know whenever those autopsy reports come, it's nothing in the world that's gonna say that this was self-defense right here. They're letting this man get away with this nonsense right here.
And Newstoter, let me say this. And see, this is why, like, if you're in an open carry state, because I don't know if you ever heard of this. There's a thing they call it urban carry holster. And this is why some of these white folks are becoming so bold. See, it's a holster where you carry your gun. It's like in the inside of your pants in the front. And so that's why a lot of these folks are trying to walk around here acting all bad and bold, because you can't really. It kind of hooks on your belt, and then it goes down the front of your pants where you can just slide your hand down your pants and pull that gun and pull out a gun and shoot somebody. Because see, these people, these white folks, they straight up punk. They're not going to go toe to toe with the black man. But I just want people to understand that, if you got to carry your gun, carry it. And if you pull it out, shoot their ass. Because a lot of them have that urban carry holster. You
can pull it up. It's on. They have a video on it on YouTube and it's in other places. But yeah, you can carry this gun, and nobody knows you have that gun when you carry it. You know, you can carry, you can conceal carry that gun, and when they jump up at you, that's what they do. So I just want to share it to make people to understand that, you know, when you encounter these evil ass folks, more than likely that's what they got on them.
Thank you, Original. I appreciate that, brother. In the Jumbotron, you guys will find a Newstoter newsletter as well as the actual YouTube channel. Please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to both of those if you can. Please go ahead. If you can do it right now, you can still listen to the space and subscribe to our YouTube channel and the actual newsletter as well too. So please go ahead and subscribe. You can also, if you can, please, if you think about supporting us on Cash App, it's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. And I say this, and I say it all the time, is the largest black American-owned news curation platform today in America. And we are definitely doing our best to get the content out there to the people as well too. If you don't have a Cash App, our Cash App is $Newstoter. You can support us on PayPal or Venmo. That's also in the Jumbotron as well too. So PayPal or Venmo, if you want to support us. We're growing as a media outlet. We're a curation platform. I don't even like to say we're a media outlet. We're a curation platform. So we're a platform to itself. But we hold content from other black sources as well. So we're our own actual curation platform. So please think about supporting us as well too, people, if you can. Miss T, I know you had your hand up. Sister Ray, I know you had your hand up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to you. Go ahead, Miss T, and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you for giving me a chance to speak again, but I just wanted to agree with the brother. I feel his passion, and he would give vengeance to the person who killed his child. And if I was his woman, I feel his pain. I wouldn't let him do it, but we sure would hire somebody. We'll hire a mercenary to put that brother away, because you cannot keep killing these babies and living. I don't even know why the man that killed Trayvon Martin is still walking this earth. How? Even back in like my granddaddy's day, folks would come up missing. You kill a kid. They take you on a long ride out somewhere. What's going on? We know what needs to be done. We know how to get shit to stop. If it can't be done through our legal system, we know how to get shit done. Sorry, Newstoter, just getting in your space, but I'm just sick and tired.
I understand, sister. I definitely understand I understand the frustration. Now you can hear it in everybody's voice. Like I say, whether most of the speakers tonight of the day have been men, but you know, I can hear it in the sisters' voices. I hear it in your voice as well too. So you know, you're entitled to how you feel. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't feel a certain way, because everybody's just tired of this right here. It's just, like I said, the year is just starting off, and I know this happened last year, towards the end of last year as well too, and we're covering it now in a space. But you know, you just when you come across so much content and so many different news articles and stuff like that, you just kind of, for your mind's sake, you just wonder, like, how many stories am I going to be seeing like this in 2023? I mean, how many stories is going to be popping up like this with black men and black women and black kids and stuff just being shot down in the street? And you know, a lot of times people will go ahead and they'll move the goalposts and they'll say, well, you know, the biggest issue is black people killing black people and this and that. And we're not trying to excuse black people harming black people. Like, the last space of 2022 we did was on white crime, and we talked about the amount of white folks and stuff that actually killed each other as well too. So the whole labeling of black on black crime only sticks with black people. But here's the issue, you know, black people tax money is used to pay for services and things of this nature in this country as well too. So our tax dollars go to funding the police, just like everybody else tax dollars go as well too. And you know, when the criminal justice system is completely against us, taking our money, and at the same time, allowing people, officers of the law and the criminal justice system directly against you, there's an issue. You should speak out. We don't pay people on the street. We don't pay other black people on the street to go ahead and shoot other black people. We're dead set against that as well too, and we speak out against it. But we're definitely not going to sit up here and allow police officers and allow district attorneys and prosecutors and stuff to go ahead and screw us over while taking our tax dollars while doing it, and sit up here and not say anything about it, and sit up here and say, well, you shouldn't worry about that. Worry about black on black crime. Well, we can do two things at once. We can worry about both of them, okay? And we are going to worry about both of them.
Absolutely. And I just read that this baby was shot 5 times.
Yeah, this piece of trash, he shot him once and then he came back and shot him multiple times. Like, where's the self-defense in that?
And I also read that he shot him back. I don't know how he's talking about self-defense. You shoot somebody in their damn back.
Yeah, anytime somebody gets shot in their back, the whole self-defense thing is thrown out. You can't shoot somebody in their back and then claim self-defense. They just don't work like that.
He must know somebody or be connected to somebody high up in that city, because this just doesn't make any sense at all.
And no, it absolutely doesn't. I mean, and a lot of times, let's be for real, Miss T, they don't have to know somebody personally. Like they said, when we talk about the system of white supremacy and everything, I mean, it's all joined at the hip as well. So even if he doesn't know somebody personally or whatever, the simple fact that, hey, you got people that actually empathize with this man here having to do his day in court, and then some child has just been murdered. They can actually empathize and sit up here and say, oh, well, he doesn't deserve any charges and this and that or whatever. And they feel for him more so than the mother that had to come out there and see her son laid up dead. Man comes and he shoots him not once, like you say, but you read 5 times. I read multiple shots. So to go ahead and shoot him that many times and then claim self-defense, it's just ridiculous. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, news real quick. I just want to add something we hit that system. That's something in our community trying to make sense out of things that clearly don't make any fucking sense. We know it's not right to kill no child. The problem is, realistically, we just don't have a way to enforce justice. Because we see, like I said, the legal system isn't doing it. But then if we take it into our own hands, that's just something else too all of a sudden. It's like we damn it, we do, damn it, we don't.
Real talk, real talk. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, thank you for having this space. I just want to, offer my condolences to Be More. I know it's very hard. This case here, it's very heartbreaking. And I just want to say thank you for hosting this space. And Be More, and to everybody else in the chat, in order for us to understand this system, we have to study it. And I absolutely 100% agree with you that we must teach our children, we must teach our loved ones about this system, or they will go in blind and they're not going to understand what's going on. Now, if white people can teach their children to understand white supremacy by the age of 15 years old, like Brother Neely Fuller said, they have a full understanding of it by the time they're 15. So why can't we do that for our loved ones? That's all I'm going to say, because I have to watch my words. Thank you.
Yeah, I understand. I know everybody's kind of, for the simple fact that they're on Twitter, everybody they kind of choosing their words a little careful in this space today or whatever. There's a lot of emotion running high, and you can't really blame folks. Shout out to my man Nightfall on YouTube as well too. But yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff, this stuff is it's raising a lot of blood pressure up in this space right here today. I can tell you that much right there. Just hosting it, like I say, I'm not all that. Just when I read that article, and even when I tweeted it out and stuff like that, the mindset that it puts you in, in the mindset that you really don't want to be in, to be honest. So I understand your feelings, sister, and I'm glad to hear you speak as well too. I was glad to hear some of the sisters speak on that as well. I know you dropped back down, but thank you for coming up here speaking as well. I'm glad just to have a difference of have our men and our women speaking on this as well too. Fred, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to start saying that
other black people, they can tell other black folks to drop that at him when they have a problem on Facebook. But here's a white man who, and let's just call it what it is, he literally went up and murdered a black child. How can he feel comfortable existing anywhere in that area at this point in time? Now, I have a question before I make my other comment. Did this shooting happen on this white man's property, or was it in a public place?
That much I don't from the article I read. I can't say.
In an apartment complex, they were neighbors.
Yeah, they were neighbors. You know, I like she said, it was an apartment complex. I don't know exactly if it was a parking lot or something where it happened. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so this is when something like this happens. All this does is reinforce Black Americans to start circling our wagons and voting specifically for our interests. Because here's the problem. When these laws are made as far as stand your ground or castle doctrine, those laws, Black people have to understand, even though we can walk around armed and fight for our right to do so, but all these laws go against us. They favor white supremacy, anti-Black racism. Now, just like how this man shot this child 5 times, there's no reason he shouldn't be able to be shot 5 times if somebody claimed self-defense. So, you know, I'm not suggesting anything, but I'm just saying that, you know, that's just something people need to look into. Now, when we hear these laws being made as far as castle doctrine and stand your ground, we have to understand that the laws that are benefit us is if it's an eye for an eye. So if you ask me, nobody should be able to walk around with a gun in public unless you are law enforcement. Because what that will do is this. Number one, that will eliminate a bunch of this vigilante gray area as far as justice. And if a cop shoots a Black person, then the cop gets an automatic either life or death. And the same will apply for any citizen that walks around, decides to pull up a gun and shoot another person unarmed. They'll say, well, you're getting life or death because you should not have had that weapon out in public in the first place. Now I'll land there.
Okay, now just go back to what you're saying. You said a cop shouldn't have a weapon. I'm sorry, Fred. Is that what you said?
What I'm saying is that nobody, unless you work in law enforcement, nobody should be allowed to have a gun out in public, because all that does is this. The laws are based on anti-Black racism. You have over 300 million rifles and guns in this country, and whites own 99% of them. So walking around armed it's an anti-Black law to begin with, because here's why. If you shot some 13-year-old white boy, execution style, came back and finished him off the same way this white man did this Black child, you're not going to get the same benefits when you go to court. So let's eliminate all the damn gray area. Say if you do not work in law enforcement, you should not be allowed to have a gun out in public, because if you do and you don't shoot nobody, give them an automatic 2 years in prison. If they shoot somebody and injure them and don't kill them, that's automatically 40 years in prison. If you take their life, you get either life or death. Now, that right there will eliminate all this gray area, and then we'll know that when something like this happens with a Black child being shot, or any Black person being shot unarmed by a civilian or a cop, that civilian or cop will get either life or death.
Now, Fred, you know, being in America, you know that'll never ever happen, though. And I get what you're saying and people shouldn't have guns in public and stuff like that. But just the way this country is set up, you definitely will never get to that point there where you won't have it'll be to the point what you're talking about, because I can see quite a few people in the space. And this might be one right here, Empress, coming up there. I don't think they agree on that right there. So,
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let you say it, and I'm gonna let Empress, because I want to hear what Empress got to say as well. So go ahead.
Now, if you ask most of the blacks in America, especially if they're a non-immigrant black in this country, nobody would have a problem with that. Most people would not have a problem with that because we don't have a problem with justice. We don't mind if somebody commits a crime, you get the equal punishment for equal crime. The problem with it is today is that that's not the case. So what this will do, it'll start forcing law enforcement in the system in general to start being more fair towards everybody, whether they like it or not.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Empress. And I know we're going to have some issues what Fred said about the gun thing. So I just want everybody to remember that the actual topic is on this 13-year-old child as well, too. But I'm going to go ahead because I know people want to talk about the actual statement he made about guns. So I'm going to go ahead and allow that, too. But I don't want to get too far off the topic of this young man whose life was taken by the suspected white supremacist. So, Empress, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, light. Power and reparations, family. Newstoter, thank you for hosting the space this afternoon. I'm here on the plantation on my lunch break, but I'm checking in. But to address Fred, listen, I appreciate your opinion, and everybody's entitled to one. But I'm not giving up my guns. I'm not giving up my gun because I use my guns to protect me and my family. And all of my children know how to shoot. My grandson is 5 years old, and he's currently learning how to shoot. We don't play those types of games. So I'm not giving up my gun. I am a supporter that we all should have a gun. Every single one of them. I got them in my house. I carry them in my car. And I'm going to continue to do so. And we'll support everybody. Every black person carrying a gun. Absolutely. My 29-year-old carries a gun. My 24-year-old carries. And my 18-year-old, she don't carry yet, but she's learning how to shoot. And we are teaching my 5-year-old grandson how to shoot. We are going to protect ourselves because it's our life or theirs. So we're shooting to kill.
Now, real quick, Empress, because I think he was saying that he doesn't believe that people should, I guess, have guns out in public. He didn't say just for the sake of argument. He didn't say that they should take guns away. And I said that even you're still going to get kickback with that as well, too, because people, the way society is now, people are still going to keep their guns close to them. So, but just for the sake of argument, he didn't say that we should get rid of the guns, but he was saying that they shouldn't be in public.
Well, that's the thing.
He said that only police officers should carry guns. That's what he said. He said only police officers should carry guns.
True. He did say that.
I absolutely do not agree. And to speak to the topic of the space today, I really can't say what I want to say because of this space. But let me tell you something. There is a solution to this problem, and it's going to require sacrifice. It's going to require sacrifice. Everybody has a military, and they use parts of that military to protect themselves in all types of ways, undercover, behind the scenes, things you would never know. And that's what we need to do as well. And I'll land my plane, brother.
All right. I appreciate you, sister. Thank you as always. Let's go ahead and kick it to I'm gonna get back to Ray, and then we'll get back to you, Fred. Ray, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this little boy that was killed. He was killed by anybody knows me. I'm a big supporter of the second. I'm with the sister. All of us are with the father. There's no sense of walking around like sick ducks. Making good people helpless has never made bad people harm. If these people are willing to break the law, carrying a gun somewhere and not supposed to, of course they're gonna take it. They're gonna commit a mass shooting like what's going on all these schools. Of course they don't mind breaking the law. Just because government officials will say, hey, I don't want you to have a gun in public. Only have it in your house. They don't care. They're criminals. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. The only reason a lot of us, myself, the reason why I care is because the world is so crazy. And I just want a shot. I'm not even saying I'm going to live. I just want the opportunity. And if one of these crazy people decides decide to try to do harm to me and my family, and I have the opportunity to protect them. That's all I really want. Hopefully, it works out the best, in my favor. But that's really, the reason why I carry and why all of us should be carrying in the first place. We can't complain about, white supremacy and people killing us and this, that, and the third, and then walk around unarmed. That's what we fought to keep the rights we have. But now we're trying to give them back to the same government we're complaining about. That doesn't make any sense. I land there.
All right, Fred, I know you got your hand up. So, Fred, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, Newstoter, you're more on point with what I was saying. Now here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you just so happen to be out at a train station and somebody so happens to start shooting, or we're in public places, you take out your gun and neutralize the threat. That will be decided in court. I'm talking about cases like this one. You shot some child out in public, you used your gun. Now, since you used your gun, let's see if you fit under this criterion right here. If it does not, you're either getting life or death. That was my point.
All right, Fred, appreciate that. All right, Fred, appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get to we're gonna get to you permit, and then we're gonna get to Stephanie. You permit, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just have a question. With this case with this young 13-year-old, is it true that the person that shot and killed him, he was already on either, I think he had a order of protection from his wife, and also it was a school zone that he was in, and he was released. So my question is, the black people who are on that in that municipal area, Congress people, district representatives, did they have anything to say about this? Because as I start to look at some of these shootings, especially in Ohio, and I go to their municipal pages to see who's the township district representatives, I don't understand why they don't just step up themselves. And I'm talking about the black people who sits on these committees for these townships. Why don't they never say anything? Second of all, when this defund the police and stuff went crazed, I went and got my 2A permit for my household. And I told my wife, I said, well, if they talking about defund the police and we got people that's breaking in people's houses, what do you want me to do? Sit there and leave it in the hands of Jesus and not protect my house? So, and I don't understand why people want, our community is the only community that they push the emphasis on gun restriction. You're punishing the people who have went through the process of being an American citizen, upholding our right to bear arms. Now, the problem is the people who break those rules and laws, those are the ones that's not being convicted. But they're putting the problem on the people who legally can carry. And I landed there.
All right. And brother, you made some good points. You brought out about, I couldn't really tell you about his situation. What if he had I think you said something about, would you say a restraining order or something like that? For this.
From what I read, he had something to do with domestic violence. Something to do with domestic violence. I think that was his mother that was on the clip I reviewed. He had a case of domestic violence, violation of he had a court order protection, and I believe he had a permit to carry. But once you get that type of infraction, you are supposed to they're supposed to take your permit to carry away from you if you have any type of domestic violence, any order protection on you. So, and plus he was also, I heard that the young kid was shot within a school zone. So it's a whole bunch of stuff that's not right. Hell, if you sell drugs in a school zone and you get caught, they automatically pin that selling drug possession in the school zone. Even if you get stopped by police in the school zone with drugs on you, that rule still applies to you. So I don't know why he is free for one, and it seemed like the black politicians. The reason I'm putting it on black politicians because too many of us put them in office, but we don't. We need to hold them accountable. Period. And I'll land it there.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing that information with me. Because, like I say, I don't know personally. There's been a lot of stories out about the gentleman, so I don't really know. So, but thank you for bringing that to light as well, too. I definitely appreciate that. Let's go ahead, Stephanie. I know you had your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Stephanie.
Thank you. I love that picture. I just wanted to tell you that. This is the purge in real time. And I do believe in self-defense. And I hate to be blunt like this, but I do believe in nigga justice too. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And I'm glad you checked the picture out. That's the man. You guys can give him a call, curse him out, yell and scream at him, and ask him why is this man walking free. And I'll land at that. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely, like I say, with it, if you guys go ahead, keep this story in the media as much as possible. The actual prosecutor, district attorney, whatever, go ahead and give them a ring as well too. Go ahead and give them a ring and let them know that we're not happy with that. Like you say, and you brought up some good points about this individual as well too. Like I say, I didn't know that myself, and exactly even with the actual being in the school zone and stuff like that, because they were neighbors and stuff like that. So I didn't even really think about that, where the apartment is at or this and that. So you definitely brought up some good points as well too. I just really want to see this family get some justice. And even justice is not going to bring the young man back as well too. So like I say, my prayers and thoughts are with his mother, his family. It's just a tremendous loss. It's been a few months ago, and I know they're still feeling the effects of this as well too. You can't, after a few months, losing a 13-year-old child like that, you still, that mother, she still got to be a wreck. Fred, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I believe it was Original B. He said that, gave you this guy's rundown about his record. Well, see, the scenario I'm talking about, in a case like this person could either get life or death. Shooting somebody out in public like that, whether it was execution style or whatever, he would be guaranteed either life or death. Just like the system failed, there'll be no more gray area. If you commit a crime like this, it's life or death.
You there, Fred?
Yeah, did you hear me?
Yeah, you had went out for a second. You were saying it'd be life or death, and then you went out.
Right. I'm saying what I was speaking of. It's supposed to be in the, like, when it comes down to the court system. Just like how this individual, he had already had something on record. If you have a law where you commit a crime like this, there is no more gray area where a lot of whites can claim evade self-defense. The way the law is set up now, as far as castle doctrine or whatever, you could be out in public. Somebody can literally go and start something with somebody else. One person can start trouble with three, shoot all three of them, and then just claim self-defense. The way, what I'm speaking of is implement something to where if you shoot somebody out in public like that and they're unarmed, you get either life or death.
Well, based on how he executed this child here, even without a new law being put in place, and I get what you're saying, Fred, he should be looking at that anyways, because if it was you, me, Ray, Original, any of the black men that was in this space, and let that have been a white child, let that have been a black child. If that had been a black child and you shot like that, you may not have got life, but you sure would have got charged. So all this stuff people talk about, black on black crime, rarely do black people ever kill another black person and don't see jail time. So all that stuff that they talk about, black on black crime and this and that, whatever, had that been a black person, had that been a black man that killed a 13-year-old black child that way, he'd already be charged. So the issue, like, so this guy, I mean, even without changing the laws and stuff like that, and I get what you're saying, he still should be looking at life. I mean, he still should be looking at facing life or close to it or whatever, 30, 40 years or whatever. If he's not going to get life, he should be looking at that one either way. So the simple fact that he's not, and he's walking around, and the people up there in Columbus, Ohio, don't seem to have a real big issue with it, because you don't hear a real big stink. I don't know what the actual black population up there is. The NAACP and all the rest of those other, I'm sure they got organizations, Urban League, and everybody else have people up there and stuff. You know, they need to be raising a big stink about this as well. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I think acting up, man, until you keep raising my hand, I'm like trying to speak, but something I got on my mind, I'm going to add this into it, since you were talking about black on black crime. I didn't know this, but they add in, let's just say me and Pookie, we got a problem, right? I called the police trying to, like, hey, get this guy away from me or whatever. Pookie comes back and he tries to harm me and end up killing his ass. That goes into the statistics for black on black crime. I just want to make sure the family knows that I learned that.
All right, Ray. Thank you. If any of our other speakers, I see Stephanie. Go ahead, Stephanie. Unmute your mic.
I'm sorry, but I had to say this part. I want to follow behind Ray. How you doing? They also added us as part of mass shooters as well. You might want to research that. Just because of, this guy might have beef with somebody, and he shoots at somebody, and a couple other people accidentally get shot in the crossfire. That would be considered a mass shooting. So, it's lonely at the top for white people. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to tell you that, and Melania.
All right. Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. Me, my sister, Trouble. Trouble, what's going on? How you doing, Trouble? Unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter, how you all doing today?
Hey, how you doing, sister?
Doing all right. Shout out to the group. I don't have a whole lot to add. I think Brother U Permit pretty much summed it up, that this fella shouldn't have even been out of jail right now, according to the pending charges he's already had on him. And then to turn around and to shoot a child, because the baby was a child, inside of a school district. And you have to understand, I don't care where you're at, you're never too far from a church and a school district. And so anytime you're in those areas, those carry additional charges, and they're set up for, a particular reason. So this man shouldn't have even been out, period, whether the judge decided that it was, the DA or whoever decided that it was self-defense or not. And how do you make that declaration when you have witnesses saying something totally opposite? So it smells bad, and maybe they're thinking that it's going to be swept under the rug, but we all have got to get together and have more spaces about this and start getting everybody to start calling down there and giving them that work. I'm like Stephanie, I believe in nigger justice too. 2023, we got to be about some big changes. We got to make a whole lot of changes. 2024 coming up, if we don't get our people into certain offices and positions and stuff, I don't see it going well. This is devastating. I was looking at that little boy. He kind of reminded me of one of my sons. It's devastating. We keep losing our little soldiers and stuff, and like Stephanie said, it feels like a purge. It doesn't feel good. It's starting to feel terrible. There was a white man yesterday that posted a video up of a couple other white men walking inside of a mall. He turned around and got that work from a bunch of brothers who was inside there. I take it, you must have called them the N-word or whatnot, and they continued to walk until they ended up throwing blows. Well, if you looked up under the comments, all of the white people up under the comments was like, oh, this is, they were all screaming one main thing: conceal and carry. Oh, they always do this. Oh, they could never fight one-on-one. Like, really? Who can't fight one-on-one? We've got proven history in the past of y'all mob activity. So to turn around and say that you can't take a lick and keep on ticking without going to get your guns says a whole lot. And it really just kind of sets the precedent for really what's already going on and what's to come. So I just implore our people to stay vigilant, keep your eyes open, head up, and stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And I'll land right there.
All right, Trouble. Appreciate you as always, sister, and glad to hear from you in this new year as well, too. So glad to hear you. Be more.
I'm sorry. Happy New Year's, everybody. Much love.
Well, yeah, Happy New Year to you too, sister. Be more. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what's up, family? I thought I had connection problems like Ray. I don't know. They must be tracking our phones or something. But I do want to say this: we are at war. You know what I'm saying? And for my people out here that's getting strapped up, you're right. They talking that carry concealed shit, and that right there, I want everybody to know. Even if you shoot somebody in self-defense, you are going to be arrested. I want to repeat that. Even if you shoot somebody in self-defense, even for shooting your baby, you will be arrested. So make sure you got bail money. That's all I want to say to my family. I love y'all. Just make sure you got bail money. This shit is getting crazy. Really, it shouldn't even be no such thing as a baby being killed. But unfortunately, we are victims of racism, white supremacy, and they are dedicated. I'm gonna say this again. They are dedicated to mistreating, murdering, and making sure they abuse everybody that they classify as non-white. That means us. I'll land there.
Thank you, Brother McCool. Appreciate you, brother, as well. You permit. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, you know what this case sounds like? I just had a thought of the Aubrey case down in Brunswick, Georgia. How those 3 vigilante white supremacists was let go, and until until the media, not even the media, until Twitter Spaces and everything really spoke about it, they had to reopen that case back up. This sounds very similar to it. I just went to the city of Columbus, Ohio's webpage, and I see a few black people holding top ranked positions within their city councils for the city of Columbus, Ohio. So I'm like, okay, I see a lot of black faces in all these positions. The township president is black. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. I'll probably just send it to you. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So all these people, they letting this stuff go. There's a problem right there that I have too. I'll land it.
All right, brother. I appreciate you as always. You definitely been on point and definitely been a big plus to the space today. So definitely, y'all, let's go ahead and keep it. Miss T also posted something. She posted about the actual what was that you posted, Miss T? I know you said you were going to give him a call, but yeah, Miss T, actually, let me put that in the Jumbotron too. The actual prosecuting attorney, you go ahead and drop that real quick. She has his number on there, so I'm going to put that in the space as well too. So y'all definitely, and let me go ahead and retweet this out as well too. So I want to retweet it out and I want to put it in the space. So you guys go ahead. If you look in the space in the Jumbotron, I just put it in there. It's not showing up yet, but it should be showing up in a second. You make sure I went ahead and did put it in there. Okay, it's up in the actual Jumbotron as well too. So yeah, the actual prosecuting attorney, we have his email number in there, Gary, I believe it's Tack. And we also have his actual phone numbers in there as well too. So that's in the end. I went ahead and I tweeted it out as well too. So go ahead and give him a call if you guys if you have any time, you want to go up and give him a call and voice your concern about what's going on with this case as well too. We can go ahead, and that's how we go to get things started as well too. Like I said, we're not all in the same place at the same time, and that's technology, and that's what technology can do for us today. We don't have to always be in the same city, in the same state. Like I said, we got a bunch of different people in different states and cities in this space right now. So that's how we got to go ahead and use technology to our advantage. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's keep this young man's name also. Retweeting it with that hashtag as much as we can. Create posts with the hashtag in there with his name in there. Sinzae Reed, and just go ahead and try to keep this case going as much as possible. Let's keep pressure. Like you said, a lot of times, between just social media and stuff like that, now they have to go ahead and kind of, have to answer people requests more so than they did 20 years ago. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Also, I just wanted to add, if there's anybody in here that knows, like, when you make these phone calls or you send out an email, who to speak to when you call, or maybe if you could write up a little something of how to start it off, because a lot of our people would like to make these calls. They don't know who to speak to or what to say when they call. If somebody could, write something up like that, that would be nice to help a lot of us out. To make it easier to make those phone calls, to be able to have something to say in advance, and again, we need to start having more spaces and bring more attention to this case, because homie don't have no business running around on these streets, and we got to make sure every time something like this go on, we use our social media prowess and power to bring them to their knees, because they have friends, and I ain't gonna say they have friends in high places. They just get special privileges off the strength of being white. They all come together to help each other out, to cover for each other, and find reasons for them not to go to jail. When something happened with us, we get smart with an officer, and when we get pulled over, we going to jail because he done concocted something. So we got to stay vigilant. And I'm gonna lay right there. I just wanted to say that because I know you all said you had phone numbers. Make sure you put those phone numbers even in the comments. That way, when the space ends, and people can't, because when I go back on spaces, I can't see what's inside the jumbotron. So make sure they're inside the comments and stuff like that, so we can at least have that information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm not going to keep this space open. This is our first Twitter space of the new year, so I just want to go ahead and put this story out there as much as possible. And hopefully, with your help, we can go ahead and, like I said, we can put some pressure and get this young man's family the justice that it does deserve. 13 years old, murdered. His alleged killer is free, still out there. The district attorney and the people up there in Columbus, Ohio, they're not doing anything about it. So hopefully we can go ahead and we can keep some pressure on them, and we can go ahead and get them to do what they need to do, which would be to go ahead and charge this man and make him stand trial for first-degree murder, because that's exactly no manslaughter, none other crap either. First-degree murder is exactly what this was, premeditated, and even premeditated the way this seemed like this took place as well too. So I just want to go ahead and like I say, I tweeted it out with the actual prosecutor's number, so you guys, you get a chance, y'all retweet that out as well too. Please go ahead and use that hashtag Sinzae Reed as well too. Let's go ahead and try to keep the young brother's name. I see Original already did that. On a retweet, he put the young brother's name in the hashtag. Let's go ahead and not forget this brother, because we know this year is just beginning, and we're hoping that we don't have a whole bunch of Sinzae Reeds, this happening in the country and stuff like that. But we do know it would not be shocking, it would not be a surprise, and definitely would not be the first as well too. So we will be back at our regular Twitter space time tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just wanted to go ahead and get this thing off. And get this up and running today. So I appreciate everybody that came in, the co-hosts, and all my listeners and speakers and everybody. And just let's go ahead and keep this hashtag flowing, everybody. And for those that can, please think about supporting us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We definitely need your help being the black media, trying to get things out, get stories popping. So if you can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, that would be a great help. Even if it's just $1 that you have, please think about seriously supporting us. Also on PayPal and Venmo as well too. For those that don't have Cash App, you can support us as well too. So I just want to thank everybody who came out to the space today, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. God bless y'all. Y'all be safe. Keep your family safe as well too, and we'll see you in the Newstoter space tomorrow night, everybody.